Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, and hello if you are new. My name is Andrea Johnson. I am your mystical muse, your manifestation mind, your spiritual inspiration, here to help empower and inspire you to manifest your soul's desire. So with that being said, welcome to Mystical Muse at Manifestation Minds. I have myself a matcha here today because we have had too much coffee already. Anyway, let's dive in. In this video, I want to talk about a realization that I had the other day about manifesting your soul's purpose, because that's a question I get asked all the time. People trying to figure out their soul's purpose and what they need to do to actually manifest it. I want to expand your consciousness and give you guys an idea of why I think manifesting your soul's purpose is BS and what you need to do instead. So from my personal experience, when I've tried to manifest my soul's purpose, it leaves me feeling kind of confused. Because when we think about a purpose, guys, most people think about one specific thing that they need to be doing. That when you come into this reality, that there is one thing that your soul came here to do, to experience, right? And that is just not the case. We are multidimensional beings. We are spirit manifested in a physical body, and we are all the energies basically being strung in here at least one point in our lifetime, right? So because of this, we have so many thoughts, desires, dreams, manifestations, purposes that we feel we should be embodying. A lot of it has to do, guys, with where you are currently at in your energy. And that will determine what thoughts come to mind, what feelings come to mind. What do you find the most healing at the time? Usually is what people kind of pinpoint their purpose as. So they feel like they need to be doing this certain thing because it's bringing themselves healing. And a lot of people find purpose in their pain by turning pain into power, and therefore helping other people basically do the same thing with the same pain points that they had, right? So you solve your problems and then you help other people do the same way with the same manifestation that you did. Now, this can be labeled as somebody's purpose, right? Somebody can identify themselves with that thought or that purpose and manifest that reality, so if they choose. But eventually you will find that that purpose becomes stagnant and you will not feel as fulfilled as you once did. This is because spirit is wanting to evolve more. It is wanting to experience more, right? You want to become more, and that is just the natural progression of life or energy in itself or God. It's evolution, it's growth, it's ever expanding, and you are the universe in a body, so you will want to expand no matter what. This is where spiritual people or Buddhist, Hinduist, whatever, monks, whatever you want to call it, will say that you truly just need to master your mind and stop thinking that you need to expand and be okay with where you're at right now. And then peace comes to know that you're always right where you're supposed to be at. You don't have to be doing anything. It's just us having a human experience wanting to expand here in this physical 3D reality. Essentially, you don't have to, you just have to master your mind. But all of us are human, so I would like to think that what else are we doing here? Let's talk about what you need to be focusing on instead of a purpose, right? Because ultimately your purpose is just to be here and exist, and you're already doing that thing. It is just us assigning an action to a feeling of what we're telling ourselves is our purpose. And when you're saying you're lost in it, it kind of just manifests more of it. So instead of focusing on finding a purpose, instead of focusing on doing one specific thing, right? Because that's going to be changing, and then we feel like we have a hard time breaking from that identity of, if we think we found our purpose at one point, that we have to separate from it to find a new one, correct? So instead of that way of thinking, I want you to follow inspiration in your life. Inspiration is that creative flow feeling of basically the flow state coming through you. It is that excitement, it's that curiosity, that wonder, lust, I want to call it, that pushes you forward to create something in your life. And what I like to call inspiration is just in spirit. It's following spirit. If you pay attention to the way that you're thinking about certain things or creating certain things in your life, you're gonna feel that energetic boost. You're gonna feel a boost of inspiration, or even certain things may inspire you to create. So this is where things can be tools actually as well too, with experiences and people in our lives, or seeing certain things like art or something like that, or reading something something and being inspired to move with the energy, right? It's an energetic boost. Inspiration can come and go. But what I find with inspiration is it's kind of like this ever-flowing thing. It's almost like if you follow inspiration, it's taking you along a journey. You don't feel stuck looking for a purpose per se. You're inspired to create, and it puts you forward. And when you're inspired to create, it opens you up to an infinite amount of possibilities of what you can create with spirit. And then when you start creating, it's almost like you are just in this flow state of just like seeing what happens, or you lose yourself in this inspiration, right? And we can find a lot of different things inspiring to us to then want to create and test it out for ourselves. It's almost like it frees up this mental block, or blocks per se. It doesn't feel as heavy as what is my soul's purpose, right? You're just like following inspiration and creativity. And sometimes you don't even know what you want to create. You're just searching for that feeling. And we can use tools in our external world to feel into inspiration, right? Things that you find inspiring. Maybe you go to a coffee shop that you just love the vibe in there, and it helps you get in that flow state with all these ideas coming through, right? Or maybe you get out in nature and nature inspires you to create something. It puts you back in touch with spirit. So I find inspiration is a lot easier to follow, and it's a feeling rather than knowing exactly what it is that you want to create. You're following the feeling of inspiration and then paying attention to the thoughts that arise after. And I also feel inspiration, since it's so open feeling, that we don't label it as like, this is my sole purpose and what I need to be doing forever, right? And then whenever the time comes to expand and you don't find your sole purpose fulfilling, then it's kind of like the ego death of the person that you created, or your ego that you created around that sole purpose. Now you got to go find something different, right? And that's the process of creation that will always happen, since you are spirit expanding, right? So when you follow inspiration, it really leaves like that openness feeling of just the wanderlust and curiosity of following just where your soul feels led to create. And if you notice the thoughts that you're thinking and what inspires you, that's going to be your breadcrumbs on taking you to your highest timeline of creation. What you create along the way of the feel-good feeling is going to be very successful for you, because there was a lot of spirit put into it. There was a lot of love. There was a lot of energy. It was made in the flow state. So the highest thoughts were coming forward. The energy that you were putting into it, you were going to fully believe in and support, because you felt the love coming through. You felt the inspiration, the movement, right? There was no resistance around that. So when we don't feel resistance around the things that we create and we feel good about it, and it's full of spirit, essentially, other people are going to sense that. They're going to actually pick up on the vibe. And whenever you are inspired and love what you create, you are going to push it out there, because you want the world to have it, right? Us humans want to share love, essentially. We want other people to feel good about the things that we create, because then in return, we get that love back. We feel like we brought somebody value whenever we give them high vibrational things or create high vibrational things for them. And it doesn't even have to be physical, guys. It can be like you put forth a lot of effort into maybe like helping somebody in a coaching session. That's not really a physical manifestation, but it's helping them shift their mind to then bring them up to a high vibration. And because you were in that vibration yourself, you brought yourself up to create that reality for the both of you, right? So that is like what you need to be following, is the feeling. Sometimes people can argue of, well, you need to follow love. Essentially, yes, love is spirit coming through you. Authenticity is spirit coming through you. Inspiration is creation, is spirit coming through you. They're all different levels of frequency, but sometimes it's very hard for people to follow love or to experience love, because we can only experience the amount of love in our life that we give ourselves, right? So if you have blocks around love, sometimes you can transcend pain into creativity and inspiration, right? To create something. So this is where you can actually transcend pain into power, this is, you can think of this as an example of like, you know, Robin Williams or Jim Carrey, comedians who have experienced such pain, they have transformed that pain into their acting, right? It's a creative outlet that transforms that energy, because energy is just energy. And whenever we have a bunch of trauma associated with, you know, a certain event in our life or something, it's very hard to bring that level of frequency to a frequency of love without maybe some steps in between there of healing ourselves to get back to that point. When we get in the process of creation and inspiration and the flow state, and we're making like art, or we're making things that light us up, we can instantly transcend low level frequencies into something that we feel like we want to create, that we feel inspired to create, right? Like maybe you're feeling really down, really low, and you go to an art gallery or something like that. You see a piece of art and it's making you feel a certain way, and it inspires you to paint. You're taking that energy of that pain and channeling it in to your artwork, because it's actually moving you. It's actually able to put you in the flow state to then forget about that pain, because everything that matters in that moment is just you and spirit creating, right? You can transcend pain into inspiration. Think of it like a breakup or a divorce. You're going through something like that, and there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy that you can transcend into power by creating with that energy, right? Because energy is just energy, and you have a lot going on at times of trauma and pain, right? You could change it with the change in thought, or the change in what you want to create in your life, because essentially the vibration that we are in is going to be what's creating our reality around us. Energy is just energy, right? It's the thoughts and the emotion behind it that are changing or alchemizing it into whatever it is that we are thinking and feeling. So if you can shift pain and focus your thoughts and attention on something else, you can take that energy and channel it into that, right? You can alchemize energy through inspiration and creating. That, I feel like, is what you should focus on if you cannot fully bring yourself to love in spirit. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope it gave you another perspective and whichever way to think of manifesting, what you feel like manifesting, and what you want to embody as your soul's purpose, or tell yourself your soul's purpose is at the time of being. Just don't hang on to the idea that your soul's purpose will always be the same, because you are a blessed, benevolent, ever-changing being, right? You are spirit in a body. You will be ever expanding, ever changing your thoughts and your mind, wanting to experience all the things, go down every damn rabbit hole that ever exists to try and figure out what it is you do want to create. And that is just called the human experience, right? Because you are both spirit and matter. You are both light. You are both dark. And as long as you wish to play the game of life, this is the experience that you will have. So, cheers, my friends. Sat Nam.